about the crowds. Well, at this time in the show, we always show you something that's trending on social media. How about this? You couldn't get
171,000 views and 9,000 views. 2 pre-tournament press conferences at the 2026 Australian Open have those YouTube statistics. A 20-year-old Filipina who would lose in the first round had the larger number. The global number 1 was the smaller one. After seeing this video, you will have a clear understanding of why the world number 1 entered Wimbledon this week, protecting her own reputation and the number 29 seed representing a nation. Her name is Eala. This channel is designed for you if you have been in this situation since the Miami semifinal, the Junior US Open, or even before the seeding committee learned how to spell her name. Join the Filipino army that has been correct about this story from the beginning by subscribing. The Mallorca narrative is already familiar to you. The ranks are already known to you, so put all of that aside for a bit. Eala won her maiden grass court trophy in Birmingham 5 days prior to the start of Wimbledon. She advanced to the semifinals after defeating Aryna Sabalenka, ranked second in the world, in Berlin 2 weeks prior. 7. Yes, Alexandra Eala gave an incredibly beautiful performance. She practiced on the Arangi grass for 2 hours on Saturday, June 27th, and entered Wimbledon as the first Filipino seeded at a Grand Slam. Now, against the bracket, Aryna Sabalenka spent her week responding to inquiries about herself, whereas Eala spent hers responding to concerns about her people. 3 days prior, Sabalenka was quoted by Reuters as acknowledging that she had fallen into what she described as a deep dark hole following her Roland Garros quarterfinal defeat. In her own words, she told reporters, "Just want to quit tennis right now, but we'll see." The Guardian published an interview with the world number 1 on June 27th. "In a few days, we'll see. Hopefully, I'll get back on track, and I'll get back on track. Right now, all I want to do is stop playing tennis." British Wimbledon. Sabalenka hasn't mentioned Alex Eala or the Filipino supporters in public at all. Let's start with the figure that was recorded by the BBC in January. 171,000 people watched Eala's Australian Open news conference on YouTube. 29,000 Carlos Alcaraz and 29,000 Coco Gauff. 9,000 Aryna Sabalenka. The world number 1 was not the most watched WTA player in the world during the season's first slam. Melbourne was a single match that had been won. The lines then appeared. The BBC's tennis reporter in Melbourne described thousands of Filipinos causing a logjam outside Court 6, a 1,500 capacity outside court, with a queue reaching several hundred yards through the grounds. "I couldn't believe the queues," declared Carthy Beaumont on BBC Radio 5 Live. Who is the scheduling team on the scheduling team? The Australian flag was an institution. They stated they would use it as a lesson. A Grand Slam competition recently issued a public apology for misjudging the drawing ability of a 20-year-old. The word reached the All England Club by March. In the 147-year history of Grand Slam tennis, Eala was the first Filipino to be seeded at a major when she came to Wimbledon in 2026 as the number 29 seed. This is a personal milestone. The most established organization in the sport has made this fundamental change. The Lexus Birmingham Open Final was held in Birmingham on June 22, 2026. For the prize ceremony, she makes her way to the microphone. She doesn't start by thanking her academy. She does not do it. Turn, 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 turn. The people, not the location, are what make a place home. Thank you, my countrymen, for the support. Home is the people, not the place. Those are the words the entire Filipino army has been waiting for somebody at this level to utter into a championship microphone. At that point, a fan base ceased to be a narrative about a player and instead became a tale about the player. You were right if you've been telling your pals for the past 2 years that this one was unique, that it wasn't hype, that it was history, and that Birmingham was the receipt. She had already dispelled any last uncertainty regarding the tennis itself 2 weeks prior in Berlin. Aryna Sabalenka. In the quarterfinal, she defeated Alina Svitolina. Linda Noskova defeated her 6-2, 6-4 in 69 minutes to win the semifinal. Potential was no longer being chanted by the spectators. They were cheering for a competitor who had just eliminated one of the tournament's top 2 players. The world number 1 was collapsing on the record on the opposite side of the globe. The deep dark hole is the Roland Garros remark. In the Guardian story, 2 players, one carrying a nation, the other guarding her image, walk toward the same fortnight. This is a sport that has changed. This is a sport. You ask, and Keith Thaving, former British number 1, current captain of the Great Britain Billie Jean King Cup team, and longtime BBC tennis analyst who has observed 2 decades of Grand Slam crowds. Keithaving did not use diplomatic language when seeing the events outside Melbourne's Court 6. She pointed at the scheduling team, reached for the scheduling team, and pointed at the scheduling team. That is not a light-hearted comment from a former national number 1 on national radio during a Grand Slam. This is an institutional person publicly pointing out that Eala is not alone, and that the tour has not yet developed itself to handle the audience she brings with her. Greg Rosetsky, a US Open finalist, a former world number 4, and a Wimbledon fixture, has stated this fortnight could be Eala's breakthrough slam, and he mentioned the Filipino support as part of the reason. The conclusion has ceased to be an opinion when 2 former top 10 era voices examined the same 20-year-old and reached the same result. Eala might have received the greatest favor of her career in the Wimbledon draw room. Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek and the returning Serena Williams are in the same section as Eala in the third quarter. Before the final, the 2 women are unable to meet. In the round, the runway is located here. On the court, Sabalenka is not losing. A player she won't see online until they both make it to the last Saturday is outdrawing her on the field, outstreaming her on YouTube, and saving her in the scheduling office. Zoom out. Tennis has been organized around the entire modern European and Anglo-American world. There are 117 million people in the Philippines, and the British government estimates that there are hundreds of thousands of Filipinos living in the UK alone. A large portion of these Filipinos work for the NHS, which has made Wimbledon a top priority since the draw. It's not a niche. The WTA has never had to serve that market before. Observe what occurs next. Zarazua in the first round of Wimbledon. A potential second-round matchup with Serena Williams. The US Open Series came next. Then there's the Australian Open in 2027, where you can be sure Melbourne Park won't place her on Court 6 again. Eala has never claimed that any of this is a fairy tale. She defeated Alicia Park 6-0 in the first set of the Australian Open in January in front of those same Melbourne spectators. At Roland Garros, she lost early. Just last week, she suffered an early defeat at Bad Homburg. When ABS-CBN questioned her about the Bad Homburg exit on June 26th, she did not attribute it to the attention, the timetable, or the surface. "I believe the conditions were challenging for me today," she stated. "I therefore did the best I could with what I had." She was holding the Birmingham Trophy 5 days later. 9,171,000. A deadlock outside Court 6. A Tagalog Trophy speech. In Berlin, the top 2 players were eliminated. The first Filipino seeded in Grand Slam history. A number 29 seed is going into Wimbledon defending nothing at all, just carrying a nation, while the world number 1 is defending the phrase in a national newspaper. Aryna Sabalenka is the finest women's tennis player on earth. The loudest is Eala. And on this Saturday, no one on the final Saturday. Here is the question. And when the last weekend comes, who is the larger story if she does? The world number 1 defending her ranking, or the number 29 seed with a country marching behind her? This channel is designed for you if you have been in this situation since the Miami semifinal, the Junior US Open, or even before the seeding committee learned how to spell her name. We are the chamber where the people who witnessed it first chat to each other, match by match, all the way through Wimbledon and into the US Open swing. Subscribe to the Tale of the Filipino Army.